So today we're in New York, hanging out with Adam Craniotes. Adam is the founder of Redbar, which is an underground watch society that now meets in cities worldwide. Redbar brings together people from all walks of life who are simply passionate about watches. Adam is an entrepreneur, an extrovert, and a watch guy. Today, we're going to get to know Adam a little better and hear some really great watch stories.
I think it's appropriate that we're here, with this quintessential New York scene in the background because we're in New York. Every one of my watches, there's some story as to the how or the why or the when of it all. I'm Adam Craniotes. I live in New York City. I founded Redbar Group, if you will, which is now the world's largest collectors group. And I honestly can't remember a time that watches weren't something that fascinated me. From when I was 7, I always had one on. So whether I was sleeping, I was swimming, taking a shower, getting beat up, I always had a watch on, and I feel naked without it. Redbar started as a way for me and one other individual, my good friend, Dr. Jeffrey Jacques, to meet once a month and talk about watches. We love watches. We've never had this experience of really being able to talk to someone face to face. Up to this point, everything is just online. Here, it was a way to take that conversation offline. And the bar that we found, which is in Koreatown, was called Redbar. So that's actually where the name comes from. And once a month, we met and talked watches. And the 2 of us turned into 3 of us, turned into 5, turned into 10. And that's really how it started, very organically. One watch that'll always be special to me is the Cobalt Seal. So obviously Seal refers to the Navy SEALs. In fact, that's not what it refers to. The joke was that it's a watch, it's meant as a tool, and he said, well, if you ever put me in a wetsuit, I just look like a fat seal. And so Mike thought about it, he goes, well, we're calling it the Seal then. And the goal was to develop watches that could handle the abuse that SEALs would throw at it. Now you look at this imposing hunk of big, wide bezel, big domed, double as a weapon in a zombie apocalypse, markers on it. It just sang to me. For obvious reasons, I'm partial to this piece as sort of the first Redbar watch, if you will. And we will be doing something where each year we'll work with a different brand to come out with a limited edition watch for our members of our group. But there can only be one first. And it was just one of those moments when I got it. I think I actually got a little misty. Now, yes, how many SEALs are going to take a $14,000 watch into combat? I think the answer is none. That wasn't really the point of the exercise. All I knew is I wanted the fucking watch. And I was going to get the damn watch. But again, there's that whole issue of the price, because it's not just SEALs who aren't going to buy a watch like this. It's also broke people.
Of course, some people don't even have internet access. Sucks when you're trying to host a podcast.
An instantaneous grail is the Top Gun. This was actually my first good watch that I bought with my own money. When this watch was first announced, I loved the design. Top Gun usually refers to their coming up short. It's sort of the definitive watch, the big perpetual coming up short. A very affordable watch right there. I need that watch. This is called the Incursion. Yeah, well look, you just tell me where, when, I'll wire the money, we'll sort it out. The next day I show up, money's transferred, Bob's your uncle, I got the watch. You don't have to pay me back. So one of my proudest moments was walking in and saying, I'm gonna buy that. And this will go to my son when he's 18. This particular watch is part of a series of 10 watches that Maurice Lacroix made for Redbar. With the older dials, it's actually from 1981. This is actually a limited edition version of a limited edition watch. It's a little brittle, don't drop one. Don't drop your regular watch either. This is a transitional watch. So this bridges the gap between the Seal and the modern Top Gun. This was made for probably about 1.5 to 2 years. And so what they did with this watch is they made 19 in a black PVD case, and then they made 62 with a gray DLC case. I preferred the gray version, so that's this one. For me, as a journey in terms of being involved in this hobby and then becoming more professionally involved in it is just a validation that a brand would actually offer to do something like that and then work with us to design it. The brand itself, is a mid-level to lower-end Swiss brand, but the design, was something a little modern and then still brought the sort of that vintage compressor flavor, but updated for the 21st century. Part of what makes a watch special to most people, there's a story behind it. And the story behind this one, every time I look at this, I am reminded about just how much I love my mom. Everything in life is a learning experience. And in terms of watches, I've learned a lot about how they function. I've learned a lot about how the business works behind the scenes. But what I've learned in terms of the people who are behind so much of what drives this industry is there are a lot of great people. The best watchmakers, these living legends that I've met, are some of the most humble, down-to-earth people you could ever want to meet. These people will literally show you the watch because they are proud of what they've done and they want to share. Also, with Redbar, I joke a little bit about how our first rule is no assholes. It's a rule that we don't have to invoke because almost uniformly, everybody who wants to be involved in this hobby on the level are great people and from all walks of life and all ages. You know, there's no demographic here. And there's something about knowing that it was made by people, not robots, that some blood, sweat, and tears were put into that. And we lose that in so many other aspects of our lives. And in many respects, that's part of progress. But every now and then, you gotta stop and take a breath. And I think, when I look and I check the time, that's me reflecting a little bit on what went into this. Because that's what's gonna tell people who I am.